The first time my parents contacted me after 2 years of silence, I thought they finally wanted to apologize. I was wrong. They wanted my signature. My father was trying to sell my grandfather's lake house for $320,000, and he needed me to sign away any claim I had to it. What he did not know was that 7 years earlier, Grandpa Howard had secretly placed that house into a trust, and he had named me as the sole beneficiary. My name is Paige Afton. I am 32 years old, and the day my father tried to take that house from me was the day I finally discovered just how much my grandfather had done to protect me. I grew up outside Knoxville, Tennessee. My father, Gerald, managed a bank branch, while my mother, Diane, was deeply involved in church activities. From the outside, we looked like a perfect family. But inside our house, my younger sister Meredith always came first. She received piano lessons, expensive clothes, and a car when she turned 16. I was told to work for what I wanted. My father called me the strong one. For years, I thought that meant he was proud of me. Eventually, I understood that strong simply meant I was the daughter they expected to survive without help. I worked through high school and college and eventually became the first person in my family to graduate. My parents promised to attend my graduation, but that morning my father called and said Meredith needed help moving. So I walked across that stage alone. That afternoon, Grandpa Howard called me. He told me he was proud of me, then said he had already taken care of something. I had no idea what he meant. Grandpa was the only person in my family who never made me feel like a second choice. He took me to his lake house, listened to me, made me laugh, and treated me like I mattered. Years later, I met Daniel, an electrician. We fell in love and married. My father disliked him immediately because he believed I should have married someone more successful. Then came the Christmas that ended everything. Meredith asked me for another $5,000 for her boutique. She had already borrowed money from me twice and never paid it back. I said no. My father exploded in front of 15 relatives. He accused me of refusing to help my own family. My mother then suggested I needed professional help. Nobody defended me. I walked out with Daniel. That was the last time I entered my parents' house. For 2 years, they never called. Instead, they told relatives that I was unstable and that Daniel was controlling me. My father even contacted someone from my past and claimed he was worried about my mental health. Slowly, everyone stopped calling. Daniel and I built a quiet life away from them. Then one Tuesday morning, a letter from a law firm arrived. It said my father was selling the lake house for $320,000 and needed my signature on a quitclaim deed. After 2 years of silence, this was the first time my family had contacted me. They did not want me back. They wanted something from me. That night, I remembered an envelope I had found among Grandpa's belongings 7 years earlier. It had my name on it, but I had never opened it. I finally did. Inside was an irrevocable trust. Grandpa had transferred the lake house into the trust. Before his death, I was the only beneficiary. There was also a handwritten note Grandpa wrote that he knew my father favored Meredith. He told me the lake house was mine and warned me never to let anyone tell me otherwise. I called his attorney, Thomas Calloway. He confirmed the trust was completely valid. Then my cousin Rachel told me why my father needed the money. Meredith's boutique was failing. My father had co-signed her loans and refinanced their home to keep the business alive. He was personally responsible for a huge amount of debt. The $320,000 lake house sale was supposed to save them, and I was the only obstacle. So I went to the lawyer's office. My father was waiting. He acted like 2 years of silence meant nothing. He told me the house was empty. Meredith needed help, and Grandpa would have wanted us to stay together. Then he pushed the quitclaim deed toward me. He even repeated the story about me being unstable. Then his phone rang. It was Meredith. She asked if I had signed yet. Then she said, "Dad, just tell her it is for the family. She always gives in when you say that." The lawyer heard everything. My father ended the call and demanded that I sign. I refused. He threatened legal action. That was when I opened my folder. I placed the trust document on the table. The lawyer read it. His expression changed. He called Calloway, who confirmed that the lake house belonged to the trust and that I was the sole beneficiary. My father had never owned it. The quitclaim deed was worthless. For the first time, I watched my father lose control of a room. Then he admitted the truth. He needed the money to save Meredith's business and protect their home. I looked at him and said, "You risked everything for her, but you could not make one phone call to ask how I was?" He had nothing to say. I told him I would not sell the lakehouse, not for revenge, because Grandpa had made his choice. But my parents were not finished. That evening, Rachel told me my father, mother, and Meredith had gone to the lakehouse. I called Calloway. He sent them a legal demand to leave. Meredith even posted a picture online sitting in Grandpa's old green chair, talking about family memories and fighting for what mattered. I stared at that picture because I had helped Grandpa build that chair when I was 10. They eventually left before the deadline. A week later, I drove to the lakehouse. On the kitchen table, my father had left a key and a short note. It said, "This was never about the money." I did not know whether to believe him. I walked down to the dock and sat in Grandpa's chair. The lake was completely still. For the first time in 2 years, I felt like I was home. Without the lakehouse money, Meredith's boutique collapsed. My father sold his truck, took money from his retirement account, and delayed his retirement. Then, the story spread through town. People started asking why. Gerald had never known about the trust and why. Paige had been called unstable when she had the legal documents all along. The story my parents had created began falling apart. Some relatives apologized, others never came back, and eventually, I stopped needing them to Daniel and I restored the lake house. While cleaning the garage, I found an old photograph of Grandpa and me standing beside the lake when I was little. I framed it and hung it in the kitchen. That photograph taught me what Grandpa had really left me. It was not just a house, it was proof that someone had seen me, proof that someone understood I deserved better. A month later, I wrote my parents a letter. I told them the lake house would remain in the trust. I told them I was not interested in revenge, but if they ever wanted a relationship with me again, it would have to begin with honesty, no guilt, no manipulation, no money. I mailed the letter and stopped waiting. Today, I still sit on that dock. Sometimes Daniel joins me. Sometimes I fish with Grandpa's old rod. Sometimes I simply watch the water, and I finally understand something. Being ignored does not mean you are unimportant. Being rejected does not mean you are unworthy. Sometimes, people simply fail to recognize the value of what they have. Grandpa recognized mine, and eventually, I learned to recognize it too. My parents thought that lawyer letter would make me give up the last thing Grandpa left me. Instead, it revealed the greatest gift he had ever given me. He had made sure that even when my own family chose not to protect me, someone had. And that was worth far more than $320,000. If this story touched you, remember one thing. You do not have to keep proving your worth to people who have already decided not to see it. Sometimes the strongest ending is not revenge. It is building a peaceful life without them. And finally realizing you were never the person who needed fixing.